I identify as a cat. I'm a cat. I'm a cat, everybody. I'm going to take whiskers. I'm going to glue them onto my face. I'm going to take claws and glue them onto my toenails. And I'm going to wear a furry cat coat. I'm a cat.
Welcome back to Square Off. To be clear, Senate President and Attorney General candidate Warren Peterson does not really identify as a cat. Let me repeat that for the folks in the back. Peterson does not identify as a cat. We don't think. He was exaggerating to make a point about a controversial gender pronoun measure making its way through the legislature. You might have a chance to vote on it come November. Arizonans might have a chance to vote on 40 or more ballot measures. The so-called referrals and a furry cat coat are just some of the symptoms of a legislative session like no other. Joining us to explain what's going on and what work is really getting done for the people of Arizona, Capitol reporters Wayne Schutzke of KJZZ and Ray Stern of the Arizona Republic. Welcome back to Square Off.
Thanks.
We knew divided government was going to be interesting, Democratic governor, Republican legislature, but who could have predicted a cat showing up on the Senate floor?
Yeah, it was a little bit of an unexpected comment. It is kind of this regular Republican talking point about gender pronouns, transgender individuals, where they're saying essentially what's next. But yeah, it was definitely provided a little entertainment during the debate.
This is getting out of hand. Ray, you endured a 17-hour session that ended at 5 in the morning this past week.
Yeah.
183 bills up for votes. First of all, from the people of Arizona, thank you for doing that. Ever seen anything like that before?
Well, you know, joining the legislative coverage, you know, I found out that you get to stay up all night sometimes. The legislature likes to stay up all night, especially at the end of the year for the budget. But I've never seen anything like this at the early session. It's crossover week, you know, and there's a lot of bills. But no, apparently it's happened years ago, but I haven't seen anything like this where people stayed up that late.
Why did it have to happen now? Because you point out it's not the budget, which always goes late into the night at the very last hour. Why did this have to happen now? At the end of February?
That's disputed, and it's become political. Democrats and Republicans disagree on that. There's no question that there's a lot of bills this year. There's a record number of bills. It's over 2,100 right now, and that's like 200 or 300 more than usual. So there's just a bigger pile of things to do. But Republicans are blaming the late nights from this week on a couple of Democrats that apparently wanted to protest what's going on with the Republican legislature, so they decided to take things off the consent agenda for the cow. And so just to get into a little of the nerdy aspect of this, the cow is the committee of the whole when either the whole Senate or the whole House gets to vote on something. In this case, it's the House. And like a lot of government bodies, they have a consent agenda that has a whole lot of things on it, and you can just have one vote to say this is all good. And the Democrats apparently took a lot of these bills out of that, which meant they had to be addressed one at a time.
So they wanted to slow walk it. Wayne, is it a coincidence this is an election year and we're seeing so many referrals, we're seeing so many bills that have no hope of being signed?
I don't think so at all. Election year. So these Republicans who control the legislature right now don't have a guarantee that they will be in power next year. Now, they have a pretty good track record of keeping power, but so legislative referrals like the one Senator Peterson was talking about, a lot of other culture war issues, stuff that the governor would veto, stuff like cooperating with ICE, things like that. They're choosing to instead circumvent the governor and go to the ballot with those measures. Other things, election changes that they want to see to speed up election results that the governor has vetoed in the past. So yeah, they're number one, putting the governor on record to veto some of these measures that they believe are popular. And on the other hand, they are exercising their power to give the voters, instead of the governor, the right to approve these things.
But 40 referrals right now are in play. It is possible.
In play.
More than 3 dozen.
Right, but it could be 40. And that would give people a lot of homework to do.
But also referral fatigue, which we talked about last year. How likely is it any of them make it? And how consequential might some of them be?
Some of them are consequential. For example, one would change our election system and make it possibly more likely that we may not have early voting, for example. So people need to research this, but Arizonans do have a tendency to vote no on the ballot measures when they see a lot of them.
It is kind of the easy vote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I believe that 2024 did lay a roadmap for this. Lawmakers, Republicans sent 11 measures to the ballot, and that pushed big counties like Pima County, Maricopa County to have 2-page ballots, slowed down the counting, all of that. And most of those measures were rejected. But again, some very consequential ones, including a very broad border bill that still isn't in full effect because of pending court cases, did pass overwhelmingly with voters. And once something is passed by voters, it's really difficult to change. So, whether it's 40 or 11, we could still see some very consequential changes. As Ray said, election changes, potentially getting rid of voting centers, which a lot of counties use right now to basically allow you to vote at any voting location in your county versus having to go to the one near your house. Stuff like that could really affect lives for Arizonans in the future.
The one big thing they still haven't done, 45 days until the tax deadline. Still no agreement on what our tax rates are going to be. Where does that stand?
It may be that they want to just kind of slough everything off till next year. And so what the Republicans said is that they're just going to do nothing and let people go with what the forms say, which are in total tax conformity with what the federal H.R. 1 did. So if the governor can't sort of break that ice somehow, then the 2025 tax season will be whatever the federal government wanted, and that could reduce some of the that will reduce some of the money that the state has to spend on
a lot of the
programs.
money.
Hundreds of millions.
So it will cost about, I think, $400–500 million.
Yeah, and as we've both mentioned here, multiple tax proposals sent to the governor, vetoed, some near conformity and then full conformity. And yeah, it appears both sides are just content to kind of play chicken at this moment because the governor wants a smaller package that would cost less money. And all of it's led to confusion for taxpayers, many of whom likely wouldn't be affected either way, because if you take the standard deduction, I think both sides kind of agree that we should adopt that higher federal one. But small business owners, large business owners, people who have more complicated tax situations, they're the ones who are kind of sitting just waiting until that April 14th deadline and just be like, can I file my taxes? Can't I?
Yeah, but then, now to be clear, right now the Trump tax cut is on the form.
It's on the form
that we have right now, and that folks can turn in.
Right.
Wayne Shutsky, Ray Stern, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.